Welcome to Inside the Skev, and I'm your host, Aaron Masliansky. Today, I am joined by Rebecca Cacayuran, and she is from the Evanston Community Foundation, which is an amazing organization here in Evanston, and they've been so helpful and unbelievable, especially during the pandemic. And just to give you guys a little bit of background, Rebecca is the Vice President for Community Investment, and the organization was founded in 1986, and it is a vibrant, inclusive, and equitable. It tries to make the community all those types of things, and it builds and connects and distributes resources and knowledge through local organizations for the common good. The foundation builds endowments for current and future opportunities, fosters private philanthropy, and focuses the impact of collective giving, finding solutions for everything, and grant making, and is really instrumental in making the community a great place. So, Rebecca, I really appreciate you being here today.
Aaron, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And it's been a long time coming having your organization on this show, because so many of the organizations that I've had on are funded by grants that the Evanston Community Foundation provides, and it's instrumental to the health of the community. And I appreciate you being on the show. And just before we came on, we were talking a little bit about what had been going on this week, and I just want to start with this because it has been an unbelievably momentous in a negative way week for the United States. And the Capitol was mobbed. There was an attempted coup. Luckily, things were able to clear out, and the election certification for Joe Biden was able to take place. But what's your reaction to that? And as a representative of a community foundation, what can we do to prevent things like this, or get more people civically involved, where people feel like they have a say, and there isn't something like this to ever happen again?
Ooh, tremendous question. And this is surreal, and I think I'm still processing it. I'm so grateful for shows like yours, for example. I think really key is information, right? Is a free press and facts. And so people tuning in and learning about what's going on in their communities is really important. I think supporting the free press is incredibly important. And just from a community foundation perspective, being engaged in your community. And there's so many ways to do that. Evanston is not an apathetic community.
No.
Right? We sure care. And there's tons of opportunities to be involved at different levels. So one of the programs that Evanston Community Foundation runs is Leadership Evanston, which is, we have more than 700 alumni. And it's a way for people to get together over the course of a year and to learn more broadly and deeply about Evanston. I know, so I'm a proud Leadership Evanston alumni, and I had people in my class who were lifetime Evanstonians who said, "Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how the local healthcare system functioned, and the education system functioned, and government and business, and how all of those sectors work together." And I think the more we can be engaged in whatever sector, whatever the thing is that motivates us and we're passionate about, it's an ecosystem. And so inform yourself and become engaged in the amazing work that's happening.
I think that's an excellent idea. We actually met a few days ago at the Rotary Club meeting that I'm a part of, and you were presenting about the Evanston Community Foundation. And Rotary is such a great organization that tries to do good and service around the world. It's a massive organization based in Evanston, actually, over 1 million members around the world. But that is another way in order to reach and do positive around the world. For me personally, I'm involved with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. That's an organization that is meant to educate the public and provide, source information. You get to meet the people or hear from the people who are actually in the news. And I think what's so important is to get facts. And like you said, get engaged with other people within the community, get to learn what's going on. And yeah, your organization is one of those that brings a lot of people together with leadership and giving people a positive way to put their energy, because if it's all in your, just your perspective, right? So if you're able to do things that can be positive, I think it could turn the world around. But to get to you and how you got to Evanston Community Foundation, and I'm sure it was something that you wanted to do something positive. What is that story? How did you get here?
That's a great question. I went to University of Illinois, and I studied
fellow
sociology.
Alum.
What's that?
I'm a fellow alum.
You are? Okay.
Yes.
ILL.
INI.
Yeah. And I studied sociology and gerontology. So I learned about racism and sexism and ableism and felt called really to try to find a way to bring about change step by step. And my grandmother lived in Evanston. While I didn't grow up in Evanston, I spent a lot of time in this area, and she was a mentor and a dear friend. And so when I graduated, I moved here to be close to her. Mm-hmm. And I looked for her advice as I was starting my career, and she said, learning how to raise money is a great way to start. Learn how to raise money and then see where that takes you. And so I started raising money at what was then Evanston Northwestern Healthcare. And then I moved on to the Evanston Community Foundation, actually, early in my career on the development side. Mm-hmm. When we were launching, it was called Community Works, where we were really focusing on building endowment and investing in the early childhood system, workforce development, and land use. Then I moved on to Planned Parenthood, and that's somewhere where she worked for a long time, and raised money for them. And then I had my first child and decided that was the perfect time for a career change. And so I came, of course.
Sure, right? Of course, right. You're not busy.
And so I came back to the Evanston Community Foundation. I had an opportunity to shift to the program side, and have been here ever since. So I've been at the Evanston Community Foundation on this side for the last 8 years, but altogether about a dozen.
Yeah, so you know it well. Now, if for the audience who doesn't really know the foundation, what do you actually do, and what types of organizations do you help?
Yeah, so there's about 700 community foundations in the country, and as the old adage goes, if you've met one, you've met one. We all have in common is that we're place-based. So Evanston Community Foundation is specifically about Evanston, and it's about first, it's about building funds so that there are resources here for Evanston forever. We bring people together, like we've talked about. We're partners in Evanston Cradle to Career. We can talk more about that and leadership.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And we bring people together so that and particularly those who have been historically marginalized, to work out our own solutions and work out how it is that we can become a more equitable Evanston. And then finally, we invest in solutions that'll ultimately make this place we call home more equitable and vibrant and inclusive.
And in terms of solutions, one of them was, let's say for 2020, working with Connections for the Homeless and helping them get everybody into a hotel room at the start of the pandemic. That was ECF all the way, right?
Well, one of the things about philanthropy, about community foundations, is that we're able to be more nimble. So we were able to act as a bridge and a catalyst and a safety net. So in those very early days, in those very first weeks, we were able to get Connections for the Homeless the funds they needed, the YWCA, Family Promise, Interfaith Action. We were able to be nimble so we could fill that gap until government supports could come in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is pretty key to be that stopgap measure. And I want to talk more about like a lot of how you shifted during the pandemic, because it certainly, your perspective a year ago may have been a lot different of what the community was going to do. But, besides the pandemic, we had, the protests this year. I mean, every single day is like a big news story and how to reach the community better. And now I'm sure there's going to be with vaccinations and how we get that going, and helping and partnering with different organizations. So I imagine you partner with many organizations in order to leverage your power, right?
That's all we do. I mean, Evanston Community Foundation is the Evanston community, right? It is the residents and the nonprofits and the businesses coming together. All of these resources are the communities. And so when at Evanston Community Foundation, we take the community piece really seriously. It's the community making the funding decisions.
And we'll talk about that more just after the break. Stick around, everyone.
Looking for safe and nurturing daycare or preschool for your child? Well, JCC Chicago is here for you. Introducing JCC Chicago Early Childhood's newest location at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston for children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Contact Director Nicole Correa at jccchicago.org/tour for a virtual tour. Our nurturing educators and social services team create safe spaces for kids to develop social and emotional skills, including teamwork, independence, and empathy through classmate interaction. Our year-round outdoor classrooms provide abundant space to discover and nurture a lifelong love of learning. Full and half-day programs help children grow and flourish in their new classroom community. Schedule a virtual tour at jccchicago.org/tour to see why parents say they quickly notice the magic that happened day in and day out. And ask about the Hebrew Immersion Program. All the info's at jccchicago.org/tour. That's jccchicago.org/tour. Mortgage rates have reached record lows recently. If you see homeownership in your future, the future is now. Think of Beth Lewis at Cross Country Mortgage as your personal mortgage shopper. She'll sort through racks and racks of home financing options until she finds exactly the right style and fit for you. She'll get you pre-approved to give you an advantage over other buyers, and she'll close your loan quickly with a highly efficient process driven by advanced mortgage technology. So far in 2020, Beth has come through for over 680 individuals and families who needed home financing. Beth will be here for you too, because helping people get mortgages is what she does best. Visit BethLewisTeam.com to get started. That's BethLewisteam.com. Or call 847-274-9745. That's 847-274-9745. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing opportunity, Illinois residential mortgage licensee. Recognized as the third largest Holocaust museum in the world, Illinois Holocaust Museum inspires people of all ages to take a stand against anti-Semitism, hatred, prejudice, and indifference. An award-winning and world-class attraction, the museum has a fantastic slate of engaging virtual programs, including discussions on social justice topics, film screenings with talkbacks, lunch and learn sessions with scholars, authors, and experts, and more. There's truly something for everyone. Tickets for virtual public tours of the blockbuster exhibit Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are available now through February 20th. And speaking of inspiring pop culture icons, on January 21st, you and your friends have the opportunity to test your pop culture knowledge during the virtual event Take a Stand Trivia, hosted by the museum's Young Professional Committee. Thanks to Let Us Entertain You, this event can be transformed into a dinner party with food and cocktail kits available for curbside pickup in the city and suburbs. Visit ilholocaustmuseum.org for more information. Relationships are at the base of just about everything in life. If those relationships thrive, so does your life and your business. Prue's Coach Leader Academy helps individuals to entire companies learn a coach approach to support positive relationship. PCLA's ICF accredited coach training program transforms and equips individuals and companies with a skill set to support others' growth and development. PCLA. We coach, we train, we mentor. Get started today at pruscoachleader.com. That's PREUSS coachleader.com. Moving day is a happy day, but how can you be sure all of your stuff will get to the new place in the same condition they left the old place? Upgrade your experience to first-class moving and storage. You'll get a team of professionals who treat all of your belongings with care and have the right tools to make the job go smoothly. They even offer a full packing service. Upgrade to first-class moving and storage. They're local and independently owned. For more info, visit the website at firstclassmovers.com. That's the number one, stclassmovers.com.
This is Aaron Masliansky, the host of Inside the Skev. Listen live to hear me interview the real changemakers in Skokie and Evanston, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on WCGO. Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Skev. This is Aaron here, and I am here with Rebecca Cacayuran, and she is from the Evanston Community Foundation, and we've been talking a little bit about what the foundation is, how she got into this, and we started talking a little bit about how the foundation has shifted during the pandemic. And just want to continue talking about that. And as we look at 2021 and as things continue to change, people are starting to get vaccinated. We're going to have a change in the administration federally. There's just a lot. Every day is change. So what do you think is going to be happening, and how do you think you're going to continue to shift the organization over the course of the year?
So, when we came in March, when we started to realize what was happening, right? I think about the second week of March. We picked up the phone, right? We went home and started working from home, and picked up the phone and called every single of our grantees and our partners, and just started listening. And we've continued to do that and really worked on putting together methods to do that on an ongoing basis, right? But really needing to adapt because we're not able to sit one-on-one. So, and so what we heard up front was that nonprofits really needed the flexibility to adapt quickly. And so we, along with a lot of foundations across the country, lifted restrictions on grants so that they could adapt. And then we really worked to centralize communication within the nonprofit community. And the mayor put together a number of task forces. And our now former CEO, Monique Brunson-Jones, who moved on to Forefront and is doing great work there, along with Dave Davis from Northwestern and Maricar Ramos from Evanston Cradle to Career chaired that task force. And we all get together on a weekly basis. It was twice a week at the beginning, and now it's every other week, to really talk about what's going on. So it's the early childhood community and homelessness and food insecurity, and people focused on mixed status and undocumented residents, and the senior community, the arts community, all coming together to talk about how we can work together. Mm-hmm. And also what really came out of those early listening, and then we're seeing this unfold, as you've referred to, is that there was a concern early on, and we saw this happening, that Black and Brown Evanstonians, those whose first language was other than English, and Evanstonians who are undocumented and mixed status, have been most affected. And so we really need to make sure, we needed to make sure during the pandemic, and we need to make sure looking forward, that as we rebuild this Evanston, that we rebuild it in a way that will make this place the equitable place we want it to be.
And how do you do that? I mean, is it giving opportunity grants for people who want to start new businesses? Is it, I know that, like, for instance, the foundation has helped certain businesses and restaurants that have been providing
Yeah.
meals to hundreds or thousands of people throughout the community for free because of the generosity of the foundation. But I mean, are you looking at a different opportunity grants, or what does that mean?
A variety of things. Our board has been incredible throughout this pandemic, and so we're doing work right now, laying that groundwork. But we're going to be looking at what are ways that we can support the nonprofit community collectively as the
Mhm.
nonprofit community works to adapt their programs, listen, lean in and really listen even more, but also find ways for us to be able to collectively purchase PPE, for example. We have strong relationships with the business community now. And so we're working in concert with the Black Business Consortium, Evanston Latinos, and the Evanston Chamber of Commerce to launch what'll be the Evanston Local Marketplace, where residents and institutions can purchase locally and they can prioritize their purchasing from women and minority-owned businesses. And we launched the Evanston Care Network, and I'd love to talk more about
Yeah.
that.
What is the Evanston Care Network? And by the way, what is the website for the Evanston Care Network?
It is evanstoncarenetwork.org. And we have long talked as a community about a directory of social service programs. And this is the one-stop shop. It is a listing of all the programs offered by nonprofits, by government, by these amazing businesses that have really leaned in to reaching those most impacted. And people can go in to look up rental assistance and childcare and where to go for COVID testing, these things. So it's available in more than 100 languages. It's optimized on your mobile device. And the amazing thing is, if people aren't comfortable, they can, using a website, they can call 311. And this is the database that 311 is utilizing. And the cool thing is that it's the nonprofits and the government it's the people who hold those programs updating them. So it's going to be around not just during the pandemic, but far into the future.
Yeah, it's almost like the weekly meetings that you have with these different organizations and putting together these different websites or the Evanston local marketplace. The pandemic, it's the silver lining of the pandemic in many ways, where we're actually able to help ourselves and be more resilient in the face of adversity. And last week I had Jill Schachter on from the Evanston Public Library, and she was talking about how the library is still involved in this program too, and
Yes.
Amita Health, and how there is the free COVID testing. And I mean, this is just so important in working with these different organizations, and making us get through this. But I think that it's also going to help us just adapt and become better, because a lot of people talk about how more efficient Zoom meetings are, work from home, or this or that. But these are things that are helping the Evanston community today and can reach everybody, no matter what income level, race, whatever you come from. But we'll talk more about this. We'll talk a little bit more about equity and how you provide that or make that type of change, and about cradle to career. So we'll be back in just a few moments.
Looking for safe and nurturing daycare or preschool for your child? Well, JCC Chicago is here for you. Introducing JCC Chicago Early Childhood's newest location at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston for children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Contact Director Nicole Correa at jccchicago.org/tour for a virtual tour. Our nurturing educators and social services team create safe spaces for kids to develop social and emotional skills, including teamwork, independence, and empathy through classmate interaction. Our year-round outdoor classrooms provide abundant space to discover and nurture a lifelong love of learning. Full and half-day programs help children grow and flourish in their new classroom community. Schedule a virtual tour at jccchicago.org/tour to see why parents say they quickly notice the magic that happened day in and day out. And ask about the Hebrew Immersion Program. All the info's at jccchicago.org/tour. That's jccchicago.org/tour. Recognized as the third largest Holocaust museum in the world, Illinois Holocaust Museum inspires people of all ages to take a stand against anti-Semitism, hatred, prejudice, and indifference. An award-winning and world-class attraction, the museum has a fantastic slate of engaging virtual programs, including discussions on social justice topics, film screenings with talkbacks, lunch and learn sessions with scholars, authors, and experts, and more. There's truly something for everyone. Tickets for virtual public tours of the blockbuster exhibit Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are available now through February 20th. And speaking of inspiring pop culture icons, on January 21st, you and your friends have the opportunity to test your pop culture knowledge during the virtual event Take a Stand Trivia, hosted by the museum's Young Professional Committee. Thanks to Let Us Entertain You, this event can be transformed into a dinner party with food and cocktail kits available for curbside pickup in the city and suburbs. Visit ilholocaustmuseum.org for more information.
Reading, writing, and math are a struggle for a lot of young students. At BrainLinks, we know those skills are what paves the way to independence and success. Our specialists will help your child develop the habits they need to make sure they strive, not only in class, but out in the world in general. And of course, for everyone's safety, our lessons are done completely online. For more info on our team members and to schedule your initial consultation, visit brainlinksacademics.com. That's brainlinksacademics.com.
Relationships are at the base of just about everything in life. If those relationships thrive, so does your life and your business. Prue's Coach Leader Academy helps individuals to entire companies learn a coach approach to support positive relationship. PCLA's ICF-accredited coach training program transforms and equips individuals and companies with a skill set to support others' growth and development. PCLA. We coach, we train, we mentor. Get started today at Prue'sCoachLeader.com. That's PREUSS Coachleader.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron Masliansky, longtime Skokie and Evanston resident, host of Inside the Skev, and local real estate expert. As a community connector and realtor with Dreamtown Realty in downtown Evanston, I know firsthand what makes the Skev such an amazing place to live. When I'm helping my clients buy and sell properties inside of the Skev or out, I'm doing it with the best technology and support team behind me at Dreamtown. During the pandemic, I've been able to help my clients seamlessly stay on track with their home search, from immersive 3D Matterport tours, professional photos, to virtual open houses. My clients can find their homes safely and comfortably, and even from their couch. When you're ready to make a move, know that I'll be here to help. You can always find out more about me at skevinston.com/real estate. Again, that's skevinston.com/real estate, or email me at aaron@skevinston.com.
Happy New Year, everybody. It's JT from Barbecue Nation. Bring in the new year right with Barbecue Nation, Saturdays from noon to 2, right here on WCGO.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Skev. Aaron here, and we're speaking with Rebecca Cacayuran from the Evanston Community Foundation, and we've been talking a lot about what they've been doing over the past year and what the organization is. And just want to make a mention that if you are watching this on Facebook, it's on Facebook Live on WCGO's page or Inside the Skev. You can comment there, ask questions, and always, go back to skevinston.com. You can watch all the previous episodes. But Rebecca, we've been having a really good conversation about how the organization is trying to bring equity and helping everybody in the community. How many different types of communities would you say you serve, and how do you go about that where you can really be in tune with everybody throughout the Evanston area?
I think Evanston you're the realtor, 75,000, maybe 75,000, 76,000 people.
Yeah.
And we're so interconnected. And so with Evanston Community Foundation really sees Evanston as an ecosystem, right? And so you're right. A lot of this listening is making sure that we're pulling people together across sectors and really focusing on those most marginalized. I think the pandemic has exposed the fault lines. If we didn't see them before,
Oh yeah.
I sure hope it is hard to ignore the fault lines that have been exposed, that our Black and Brown Evanstonians have been most hit by the pandemic. And so what we're working to do, the Evanston Community Foundation and our partners and Evanston Cradle to Career, we're really focusing on the systems that can be improved. How do we look at the policies? How do we identify the blind spots that have been there so that we really can rebuild to be the equitable Evanston I really and truly believe we can be?
What is Cradle to Career? Tell us a little bit about that.
So Evanston Cradle to Career, it is a collaborative partnership of about 40 organizations, 150 community members that are really focused on being a catalyst for change, for addressing the systems that specifically affect families and children in Evanston. And so partners include nonprofits, the schools, Northwestern, the city, businesses. And so I sit on the operations team and the racial equity team to really pull back the layers of the onion to look at how can we all adapt our work at the systems level so that it actually works for everyone.
And so when you do that, I mean, does it actually help people then go get jobs, or have you seen people go? How long has the program been around for? Let me ask you that.
Cradle to Career, I believe, has been in formation. I'm umming because I'm counting here, but I believe about 8 years. And yes, I think so. You may have heard about Cradle to Career, you being the listeners, through the incredible work of the Advocates for Action. So in addition to these nonprofit, these partners, these institutional partners, Advocates for Action is a group where there's people who have deep relationships in Evanston who are building leadership skills and collaboration skills to really figure out how to make change just in their lives and in neighborhoods,
In their backyard,
in their own backyard. Yeah.
If someone is listening to this, how do you get involved in this? Let's say you want to become an advocate, you want to get involved in the leadership program. What do you do?
You go to the Evanston Cradle to Career website, and there is a little form that you can fill out to say, hey, I want to become involved.
And do you have to live or work in Evanston, or is it, or can you just be if you're interested in Evanston, could you join it?
That's a great question. I mean, I think I would reach out to the staff there to double check. I'm not aware of anyone outside of Evanston or Skokie who's a part, but I think there's a lot of amazing work. Collective Impact is what it's called. Evanston Cradle to Career is a collective impact organization. And so there's a lot of amazing collective impact organizations, and there's a lot to be learned from other areas as well.
Right. And if you're interested in that, go to evanston2c.org. And the 2 is the actual number. So evanston2c.org. I think it's a great program because it's all these programs are about how to foster leadership, independence, and make the community stronger. It's not about just handouts. It's about learning and opportunities. And I think that's another great reason to partner with the library, because that is such a place of learning and what you do. And it does really promote equity. Now, as you're going through and creating these programs or working on these programs, what types of challenges have you come up against?
I'm quiet because I'm thinking. I mean, So I'll just say from a personal level, my husband and I both work full time, and we've got a 4 and an 8-year-old. And so I think, and that's not something special to me. I think some of it is just bandwidth. All of the people we're working with are people with their own lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so many of our partners, you referred to our business community, in addition to running their businesses and carrying the weight of feeling called to provide for those who are most impacted by the pandemic. We're also all experiencing loss. I think we all know people who have lost their jobs, who have lost their lives to the pandemic, who are feeling the stress of and the trauma, for for Black and Brown residents of watching what's been unfolding. And so I think self-care is just incredibly important to make sure that we can, not to get too, but to recognize that this is a marathon and not a sprint. And from a personal perspective, I was sprinting for a long time, and then I had to okay, how do I make sure that this is something that we can really stay in? And how to find the balance between getting the work done and really continuing to listen and build the strategy. And I think that that's just a balance that we're all going to have to figure out, because rebuilding this Evanston, it's amazing the thousands of people who gave to the Evanston Rapid Response Fund. So in a normal year, in 2019, the grants from Evanston Community Foundation were about $850,000.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, it was over $4 million.
Wow.
And we had incredible leadership from people who really believe in the community making our own decisions, who put up matching challenges, and thousands of people gave what they could. And that continues. We have another match. There's $50,000 left on this $1 million match. And so it's just such a collective effort. And so while exhausted, also, I just feel like I'm at this front row seat of seeing such inspiring, amazing people. I get to see the best of Evanston. Right. And yes, the fault lines are in our face. It is not working for everyone. But I really believe that, we really can rebuild something great here.
We can. I think what you just said, that in a normal year, you raise $850,000 for the Evanston Rapid Response Fund, and this year, $4 million, or this past year,
usually
right?
grant money. So
that's how much you granted. Okay.
To establish the Rapid Response Fund, our board pulled from the endowment, and then we set up a challenge. But the Rapid Response Fund was just for this pandemic. What's great, though, is that back in the 80s, we had these people who had a vision for establishing a community foundation so that there would be funds here, not only for the important work that needs to happen every single year, but to equip us for crises just like these. And some of those people are still here and engaged with the foundation and steering the ship.
Are they still on the board and involved that way, or just they're still giving and being a part of it?
They're still giving and being a part of it. And I want to say, what sets the ECF apart is that the bulk of our endowment is from lots of little gifts, lots of donors from all over Evanston. So it's not just a few really large donors. It really is a community effort, and it's a call for everyone to be a part of it.
I think it's really important. If you want to go and give to the foundation, go to evanstonforever.org. That's the website there. And there's a Give Now button at the upper right corner. And even if you can't give, I think it's important to be able to share the message of what you're doing and to continue to inspire others to do so. And so we can continue to build resiliency. We're going to take a short break and we'll come back and talk more about what's going on, and everyone stick around.
Looking for safe and nurturing daycare or preschool for your child? Well, JCC Chicago is here for you. Introducing JCC Chicago Early Childhood's newest location at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston for children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Contact Director Nicole Correa at jccchicago.org/tour for a virtual tour. Our nurturing educators and social services team create safe spaces for kids to develop social and emotional skills, including teamwork, independence, and empathy through classmate interaction. Our year-round outdoor classrooms provide abundant space to discover and nurture a lifelong love of learning. Full and half-day programs help children grow and flourish in their new classroom community. Schedule a virtual tour at jccchicago.org/tour to see why parents say they quickly notice the magic that happened day in and day out. And ask about the Hebrew Immersion Program. All the info's at jccchicago.org/tour. That's jccchicago.org/tour. Relationships are at the base of just about everything in life. If those relationships thrive, so does your life and your business. Prue's Coach Leader Academy helps individuals to entire companies learn a coach approach to support positive relationship. PCLA's ICF accredited coach training program transforms and equips individuals and companies with a skill set to support others' growth and development. PCLA. We coach, we train, we mentor. Get started today at Prue'sCoachLeader.com. That's PREUSS Coachleader.com. Moving day is a happy day, but how can you be sure all of your stuff will get to the new place in the same condition they left the old place? Upgrade your experience to First Class Moving and Storage. You'll get a team of professionals who treat all of your belongings with care and have the right tools to make the job go smoothly. They even offer a full packing service. Upgrade to First Class Moving and Storage. They're local and independently owned. For more info, visit the website at firstclassmovers.com. That's the number 1, stclassmovers.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron Masliansky, longtime Skokie and Evanston resident, host of Inside the Skev, and local real estate expert. As a community connector and realtor with Dreamtown Realty in downtown Evanston, I know firsthand what makes the Skev such an amazing place to live. When I'm helping my clients buy and sell properties inside of the Skev or out, I'm doing it with the best technology and support team behind me at Dreamtown. During the pandemic, I've been able to help my clients seamlessly stay on track with their home search, from immersive 3D Matterport tours, professional photos, to virtual open houses. My clients can find their homes safely and comfortably, and even from their couch. When you're ready to make a move, know that I'll be here to help. You can always find out more about me at skevinston.com/real estate. Again, that's skevinston.com/real estate, or email me at aaron@skevinston.com.
Mortgage rates have reached record lows recently. If you see homeownership in your future, the future is now. Think of Beth Lewis at Cross Country Mortgage as your personal mortgage shopper. She'll sort through racks and racks of home financing options until she finds exactly the right style and fit for you. She'll get you pre-approved to give you an advantage over other buyers, and she'll close your loan quickly with a highly efficient process driven by advanced mortgage technology. So far in 2020, Beth has come through for over 680 individuals and families who needed home financing. Beth will be here for you too, because helping people get mortgages is what she does best. Visit BethLewisTeam.com to get started. That's BethLewisTeam.com, or call 847-274-9745. That's 847-274-9745. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing opportunity, Illinois residential mortgage licensee.
You're listening to Smart Talk
on AM 1590, 95.9 FM, the Smart Talk app, and WCGORadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the show. And I'm here with Rebecca Cacayuran, and she is from the Evanston Community Foundation. We've been speaking this past hour about all the different great things that the organization does, and how people have really supported the foundation and, in turn, the community. especially over this past year, which I think is so amazing and shows the resiliency and the beauty of this community. And, I've really had the pleasure to speak with a lot of the change makers and upstanders from Skokie and Evanston over the past couple of years. And it's just enlightening to see how much we all pull together. And, when stuff hits the fan, we really came together. And your organization, Rebecca, is just such a perfect example of it. Now, what are you working on right now? What new programs have you guys thought about to start working on for the next year or couple of years?
So we're really, you used a word, resiliency, and that's kind of that. If I was gonna think of 2021, and really, it's a word that's really guiding our work. It's resiliency and equity. So we're going to be focusing on helping Evanston become more resilient, right? And really walking with nonprofits to help them adapt business models. So, and I talked a little bit about what's the role of philanthropy, right? And so there's lots of different resources. And so a lot of this is connecting people to resources. So one thing that is going on right now is we have one of our amazing board members, Paul Brenner, is offering free pro bono consulting for businesses and nonprofits to help them really figure out how to apply for government funding. So the Paycheck Protection loans are available, and the EIDL loans. And so if any business owners or nonprofits need some help accessing those resources, people can go to our website and fill out a form, and he'll help them kind of walk through what's that application process.
Because that can be confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And knowing which banks are accepting those and processing those. And so it's incredible to have somebody just on a Zoom with you working through that. Something else is we have a long-standing relationship with the Mammal Foundation. We've run what's called a Root to Fruit program, which is in its final year, but we're launching a Building Resilient Organizations program, where we have a dozen organizations that are going to be working together in a cohort. And they're going to have a consultant from Spectrum Nonprofit Services who are going to help them look at their business models and how they can adapt those business models going into 2021. And we're also providing free consulting services for an additional 20 organizations who maybe this cohort program isn't right for them, but they just need a one-on-one with an expert to help them look at their financial models. We're also, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, we also have an amazing partnership with the YWCA Evanston North Shore called Building Equitable Institutions. And so this one it's another cohort, right? Because we really believe that people doing this work together and learning from one another, it's not just about learning from experts in a field, it's also learning, sharing expertise among each other. And so Building Equitable Institutions is focused on early childhood providers, where we have early childhood providers coming together to learn more about how can they break down their policies and the procedures and identify their blind spots so that we can make for a more equitable community. Because we know that young brains, those children from 0 to 3, or those children from 0 to 5, if we really can have a strong early childhood system, we're really going to be able to close the opportunity gap that we really see persisting in Evanston.
Which will be incredibly important as more kids are able to get back in person, and those who haven't been. I think that there's going to be some adjustment that's definitely going to need to have assistance. People are going to need to be able to learn those social skills that are needed, having been away from everyone for a year.
and process the compounded traumas. You know, we think about kids who are most impacted, and it's kids who, you know, whose parents may need to work multiple jobs. And we know that Black and Brown Evanstonians have been hit hardest by COVID. And so there's just so much that we need to do to support these young children. And so we're partnering closely with our nonprofits and the school districts, and we're going to just need to keep listening to each other and sharing information so that we can make sure we're giving these kiddos and these families everything that they need, so that we can emerge.
Yeah. No, I mean, you were talking about it earlier, just about how you step back and you look at it's a marathon, and no matter whatever situation you're in, even if you're been able to stay healthy and fiscally healthy or not, everyone's dealt with trauma over the past year. I mean, this is just between the pandemic and being fearful of going outside or not seeing family and friends, just and what's going on in Washington and everything else. Like, it just is a lot of stress. So I think that these programs that you're putting together are so important in order to be able to help us get through as a nation. I mean, it's, you know, this country's gone through, and this town has gone through a lot. I mean, even like the 1960s, World War II, beyond that, this is one of those types of 9/11. You know, this is one of those types of moments for sure. We only have a couple minutes, but I just want to make sure everybody knows where they can get the latest information about what's going on and where people can follow you guys on social media.
Yes. So please, so follow us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, our website, evanstonforever.org. Learn more about the Evanston Care Network. And as you said, Aaron, that's a partnership with 311 and the City of Evanston and Amita Health and the Evanston Public Library. And just spread the word about the incredible work we're doing together as a community.
Well, I think that's key, and everyone should look at that website, follow what you guys are doing, because this organization is such a great upstander and change maker for the community here in Evanston and Skokie and beyond. Rebecca, I really appreciate your time today, especially after the week that we've had, to come and speak. And I've gotten to hear you twice now, and really got to know you. So it's been really, really nice. I appreciate it. I hope this week is a calm one for everybody. Next week, we'll have a really good episode for you. I'm going to be having Marcy Larson from the Holocaust Museum, and you know, just some more great information out there. So go to skevinson.com and have a good week, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks, Aaron.
Get on Santa's nice list with Al.